A Department of Defense intel staffer has been arrested for trying to give classified information to a foreign government. On the surface, this appears to be an arrest for espionage. This individual said that they had disdain, they did not align with the values of this administration, and had sought citizenship with a foreign nation and were working to exchange classified information they had been transcribing. He had been transcribing. Now, I don't know if the individual has been charged explicitly with espionage, which is very serious. And in fact, the penalty in some circumstances, depending on the information transmitted, is in fact death. Now, I didn't believe it at first. We were talking about this last night on Timcast IRL. But indeed, I do have the U.S. code pulled up for you guys, and we'll get into that. Let's jump into this story right now. Excuse me, from the AP News. U.S. government employee charged with trying to give classified information to a foreign government. An information technology specialist for the Defense Intelligence Agency was charged Thursday with attempting to transmit classified information to a representative of a foreign government, the DOJ said. Prosecutors say Nathan Villas Lash, 28, of Alexandria, Virginia, was arrested at a location where he had arranged to deposit sensitive records to a person he thought was an official of a foreign government, but who was actually an undercover FBI agent. The identity of the country Lash thought he was in communication with was not disclosed, but the DOJ described it as a friendly or allied nation. It was not immediately clear if Lash, who is set to make his court appearance Friday, had a lawyer who could speak on his behalf. The DOJ said in its investigation into Lash began in March after officials received a tip that he had offered to provide classified information to another nation. Lash wrote in his email that he did not agree or align with the values of this administration and was willing to transmit sensitive materials, including intelligence documents, to which he had access, prosecutors said. An undercover agent got in touch with Lash, who began transcribing classified information to a notepad and made plans to drop off information that the foreign government representative could pick up in a park. At one drop-off this month, prosecutors say Lash left behind a thumb drive containing multiple typed documents marked up to the secret and top secret levels. In return, prosecutors say, Lash said that he was interested in obtaining citizenship from that country because he did not anticipate things here to improve in the long term. He was arrested Thursday at a prearranged location after making additional plans for a drop-off. Now, we have the official press release from the DOJ where they break down that, in fact, he did drop off a USB thumb drive containing some of this information. The deep state is real. The deep state is many things. Sometimes there are high-profile, prominent individuals with access to intelligence, maybe they're in Congress or otherwise, and they are seeking to stop Donald Trump, or let's just call it the duly elected government of this country. But there are many people, typically, this is what the deep state refers to as individuals who are in government, who have been there for a long period of time, who are not elected, and they transcend administrations. So let's say George W. Bush gets in and he hires a guy to work in the CIA who hires some people to work in the CIA. George W. Bush leaves. The Obama administration comes in. These guys are still there. And they go to Obama and say, here's what we're working on and here's why we're working on it. Now, for people like Obama, he largely goes, okay. Then you get Trump. And these permanent staffers, we call them the permanent government, tell Donald Trump, this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. And presumably, this is the assumption most people have, Trump says, no, we don't want foreign wars. We don't want to go to war with Russia. We don't want to be involved in Ukraine. And the deep state says, we will remove you from office unless you do as we say. Now, this guy appears to be a tiny grain of what we would call the deep state. It's an intel staffer who hates Trump, who is selling out this country to benefit himself to get citizenship in another nation. Didn't work out for him. But these people exist. This is what I refer to as, we'll call it a component of wokeness. Clearly, if you are going to transcribe classified information and give it to another country, you're deranged. And what I mean by wokeness, when I talk about it, critical race theory somewhat identifies the weird cultural behaviors of the left, sure, but it doesn't explain the adherence to Ukraine, the flying of Ukrainian flags, the worship of this country. It's weird. It's just the adherence to the machine orthodoxy, the liberal machine orthodoxy. That's why they're pro-Islam, which makes no sense. They're not oppressed. That's not critical race theory. This guy lives in a world where Trump is literally Hitler, and for that reason, he would sell out his own nation and try and get citizenship somewhere else. This is the Trump derangement syndrome, a component of what makes up the wokeness. Let's read this. This is from the DOJ's website. They say, according to court documents, Lash became a civilian employee of the DIA in 2019, where he works with the Insider Threat Division and holds a top secret security clearance. Now, hold on there a minute. He got hired during the Trump administration the first time. What's going on? Well, as we are now learning from Kash Patel with the leaking, or I should say the release of many FBI documents, the DOJ and much of our federal government during Trump's first term was deep state. It was deep state. Kash released information, an analysis from the FBI concluding that one of the Russiagate hoaxers, prominent individual, lied to Congress and appeared to have committed many felonies. Now, the report from the GOP says outright this individual, Nellie Orr, committed multiple felonies. No arrest. No prosecution in 2019. That was under the Trump administration. So for what reason did Trump's own DOJ not prosecute? That was Bill Barr. Now, there is some speculation that the criminal referral, which was reportedly made, got lost. Bill Barr never saw it. It's also possible that someone like Bill Barr is an old school do-nothing Republican, and he said, we don't want to do this. We don't want to escalate. Let's just sweep it under the rug. Well, this is what happens when you sweep it under the rug, Bill. Now, perhaps the criminal referral never made it to his desk, because I can't expect the head of an agency. Look, I run a company. I don't know everything that's going on here. You know, a chicken died, and it's like, I didn't find out for a couple weeks if I did. No idea. Because I'm focused on doing the work I'm doing. That may be true for Bill Barr. So when it comes to this case, maybe he didn't know criminal referral was made. No one brought it to his attention. It's possible. But I kind of think someone like Bill Barr, paying attention to the Russiagate hoax, the biggest story in this country, would have been actively seeking out information in this manner, which says to me, Bill likely just went, you know what? We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to create an escalation, so let's just let it go. And this is what happens when you let it go. When someone like Bill Barr stops going after the corrupt, when our DOJ will not prosecute these criminal conspiracies. Kash Patel said what Comey did was a criminal conspiracy. If you don't do it, you get this. Guys at a lower level say, it's totally fine, I'm allowed to do it, and my friends, the system will implode. And for many of these people on the left, they want it too. Take a look at this. They said after multiple communications with an FBI agent who Lash allegedly believed to be an official of a foreign government, Lash began transcribing classified information to a notepad at his desk, and over the course of approximately 3 days, repeatedly exfiltrated the information from his workspace. Lash subsequently confirmed to the FBI agent that he was prepared to transmit the information. Thereafter, the FBI implemented an operation at a public park in Northern Virginia, where Lash believed he would deposit the classified information for the foreign government to retrieve. On or about May 1st, 2025, FBI surveillance observed Lash proceed to the specified location and deposit an item. Following his departure, the FBI retrieved the item, which was a thumb drive later found to contain a message from Lash and multiple typed documents, each containing information that was portion marked up to the secret or top secret level. The message from Lash indicated he had chosen to include a decent sample size of classified information to decently demonstrate the range of types of products to which he had access. Now, okay. Let's get serious with this, because I know a lot of people are saying, what's the penalty? Check this out. Gathering, transmitting, or losing defense information. Gathering or delivering defense information to aid foreign government. It doesn't say enemy. It does not say enemy. This is 18 U.S. Code, Chapter 37, Part 1, Espionage and Censorship, to which it says, I'll try to be quick with it. Whoever with the intent or reason to believe that is to be used to the injury of the United States or to the advantage of a foreign nation communicates, delivers, transmits, or attempts to communicate, deliver, or transmit to any foreign government or to any faction or party or military or naval force with a foreign country, whether recognized or unrecognized by the United States, or to any representative, officer, agent, employee, subject, or citizen thereof, either directly or indirectly, any document, writing, code, book, signal book, sketch, photograph, photographic, negative, blueprint, plan, map, model, note, instrument, appliance, or information relating to the national defense shall be punished by death. Okay, say that again. If you transmit effectively information pertaining to our national defense, shall be punished by death or by imprisonment for any terms of years or for life, except the sentence of death shall not be imposed unless the jury, or if there is no jury, the court, further finds that the offense resulted in the identification of by a foreign power of the FISA Act of an individual acting as an agent of the U.S. and consequently in the death of the individual, or directly concerning nuclear weaponry, military spacecraft or satellites, early warning systems or other means of defense or retaliation against large-scale attacks, war plans, communications, intelligence, or cryptographic information, or any other major weapon systems or major element of defense strategy. Okay. Now, going back here, he wanted to demonstrate, quote, decently demonstrate the range of types of products to which he had access. What's a product of what products do we have that are classified? I have to imagine any classified information relating to products would be related to our national defense. I highly doubt we've classified the use of janitorial equipment, but maybe the company that cleans the Pentagon's toilets is classified because security reasons? But there you go. It's still going to be national security reasons. But in that regard, it wouldn't be related to the defense of the United States. I would just say we don't yet know exactly what he was transmitting, but it looks like the death penalty for this action may be on the table. Now, there is more. We have a further disclosure of classified information. That's not even to a foreign government. Whoever knowingly and willfully communicates, furnishes, transmits, or otherwise makes available to an unauthorized person or publishes or uses in any manner prejudicial to the safety of the interests of the United States for the benefit of any foreign government, to the detriment of the United States, any classified information, blah, 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 10 years. 10 years. Fined or imprisoned 10 years. Now, here's the thing. An unauthorized person could be an American citizen. So when you factor in that this guy was not only transmitting for the benefit of a foreign government classified information, but seeking citizenship, I think we're looking at a very, very serious story right here. Now, Nick Sorter has this post purporting to be the man in question. He says, FBI have just arrested an anti-Trump Defense Intelligence Agency employee who was offering to give classified information to foreign governments. Nathan Lash, 28, blatantly told these foreigners he doesn't agree or align with the values of this administration, so he's willing to divulge secrets. These deep state crooks riddle the intel community. Great job to the FBI for weeding this traitor out. Oh, man. Now, I will clarify, as I often do. And it is frustrating, I will say. Treason, being a traitor, maybe Nick is speaking colloquially, like he's betrayed his nation. Okay. Treason legally is when you aid a foreign enemy, be a faction or government or otherwise. Now, this guy was trying to aid an ally. Doesn't mean anything. He was still subverting U.S. secrets and interests. We still have to negotiate with allies. We're not like the same government. But this would be, in my opinion, espionage and seditious conspiracy. That being said, I think he's looking at probably life in prison. And depending on the information he transmitted, the penalty may be death. That's how serious things have gotten in this country. This is how insane things are becoming. My friends, ask yourself this. You know, while I'm asking this, I want to look it up. I'm going to ask you guys this to comment. Tell me what you think or what you know. When was the last time the U.S. put someone to death for treason? So I'm going to ask this, the U.S. put someone to death for treason, espionage, treason or espionage. Because I got to tell you, we are in unprecedented times. 1953, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were executed for espionage. And the last individual executed for treason was in 1862 during the Civil War for tearing down a U.S. flag in New Orleans. Whoa. Now that's crazy. Now I think many of you may have heard of the Rosenbergs, and let's pull this up. And I want to pull this story up because these people received the death penalty for what they did. For those not familiar, they were an American married couple who were convicted of spying for the Soviet Union, including providing top secret information about American radar, sonar, jet propulsion engines, and nuclear weapon designs. Convicted of espionage in 1951, they were executed by the federal government of the United States in 1953 using New York State Execution Chamber in Sing Sing in Ossining. Is that how you pronounce it? New York, becoming the first American civilians to be executed for such charges and the first to be executed during peacetime. Crazy. Other convicted co-conspirators were sentenced to prison, including Ethel's brother. David Greenglass took a plea deal. Harry Gold, Morton Sobel, Klaus Fuchs, maybe pronounced differently. A German scientist working at the Los Alamos Laboratory was convicted in the UK. For decades, many people, including the Rosenberg sons, have maintained that Ethel was innocent of spying and have sought an exoneration on her behalf from multiple U.S. presidents. We were in a Cold War with the Soviet Union at the time. And so that was adhering to our adversaries and enemies. I'm curious to what nation this person was trying to aid, because I think that is going to have an impact on whether or not this escalates. But considering it doesn't sound like it's going to be Russia, Iran, China, or any of the listed enemy adversaries. There's actually codified. It's Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China are our stated adversaries. And so I doubt that he was providing information to them. I don't think this guy's going to get the death penalty, to be completely honest. It depends, I suppose, on the information he had. But this is insane. Let me see. It's not the first time someone was leaking classified information. We actually have a ton of these stories, but specifically because of Donald Trump and his administration. So let's do this. List the, let's see, give me a list of people arrested for selling state secrets. It's going to be a big list. A lot of people. And the reason I bring this up is while there are within this story issues and circumstances that are unprecedented, there's a lot that is actually not all that uncommon. So check it out. I pulled up a quick list. Nathan Villas-Lash is the latest. John Harold Rogers, a former Federal Reserve economist, was indicted for allegedly providing China sensitive U.S. economic information. He's accused of trading Federal Reserve trade secrets for at least $480,000 by posing as a university professor in China. Now, the question here with this story is, I'll pull it up for you guys, was this classified information? And they do say trade secrets. So I'm not sure that it, I'd imagine if it is a secret, it would be to some degree classified. They say this, according to the indictment, a U.S. citizen with a PhD in economics worked as a senior advisor where we would have access to a range of classified information. But the question is, did he give, let's do this. Was the info Rogers gave classified? If it is, then let's see. It was not classified. Okay. This is what I'm trying to get to. We also have, let's see what we got here. Sergeant Corbin Schultz, U.S. Army analyst, pleaded guilty to conspiring to sell military secrets to China. He was arrested after an investigation revealed he was paid $42K in exchange for dozens of sensitive security records. Now, question, I mean, that's way more serious. Let's see. Let's see what happened with this guy. Sergeant Corbin Schultz. He pleaded guilty to attempting to transmit national defense information to China and faced up to 20 years in prison, but there's no indication he was eligible for the death penalty. The charges did not meet the threshold for capital punishment. And I think it's because he didn't actually do it. And that's why with this story, once again, he didn't actually transmit the information. So I don't think they're going to get him on anything serious. But this was the point of contention last night. Considering it was an attempt and not a legitimate transfer of information, and there have been other people who have attempted to transmit military secrets to China who have not received the death penalty, I don't think it's very likely in this circumstance. But I will say, The fact is, anti-Trump deep state individuals exist in this government, and they're probably still working. This is the one that we caught. I think it's fair to say there's probably many out there that we haven't caught. And if that is the case, what does this mean for this country? When the hyperpolarization, particularly in the young, this is a Gen Z guy. In the younger generation, the polarization is as such that someone is willing to sell out our secrets for citizenship. For what? Last night, I was talking to Elijah Schaefer, and I was saying that Gen Z and millennials were largely lazy, and he didn't agree. And he's wrong. There is a big socialist wing of the younger generations, more so than Gen X and boomers, because they're lazy and entitled. This guy lives in the greatest country on the planet, but he has been brain rotted into thinking something is wrong with Trump and this country. So much so that he destroyed his life. For what? For what? Now, I got to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out the country was Canada that he was trying to transmit information to. Something, that's why they're not saying. Because it might just be Canada. But then again, maybe the UK, maybe Japan, who knows? But we'll see how this one plays out, my friends. I'll be staying in touch with this one. Stick around. We got more segments coming up. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Thanks for hanging out. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Comments. And we'll see you all in the next segment.